When we start to consider our web projects in Dreamweaver, we need to understand what Dreamweaver will and won't do for us. Dreamweaver is very useful in terms of actually giving us a bunch of menus and GUIs in order to help us choose certain properties for our page or for our page content, but it's not there to help us create the entire site itself. Whilst it can help us along the way, we really need to be disciplined and learn at least HTML and CSS in order to completely make our own website. So, taking a look at the basics of the interface, you have code, split and design at the top of any new document. The design view is there to help you see what you've written in HTML. So for example, if I wrote something in here, I'd see that in the design view. The design view is an approximation of what the page should look like once it's published in a browser. It'll also allow you to edit the content of the page once you've created it. So for example, I could write into the design view like that. And if I press return, you can see it's putting in some tags there. So P for paragraph. So it will write code for you and it will edit code for you. But you should know what it's doing, because sometimes Dreamweaver interprets what you're doing incorrectly or does something that you didn't intend it to do. So you should know what stuff means in order to go back to the HTML and edit it directly. Most of what we'll do in this series is going to be based around handwriting the code and handwriting CSS code also. So if you don't have Dreamweaver, that's fine. You could work in a Mac application called Text Wrangler, which is free, or if you're on PC, you could either use Notepad, or if you want some highlighting of code colors like Dreamweaver does, Notepad+. If you Google those terms, you should find what you're looking for. But the basics of this, if you're using Dreamweaver, will be to be using the Css Styles window. Any of these windows can be found from the window menu at the top. The file browser menu on the right hand side, which we set up in the first video, and the code, split or design views to see what we're doing. You'll also need a web browser to check up on our progress as we go along.